And being detailed when I say this, I'm just going by the fact of, you know, when you look at the Clippers, where their fault's at. Of course, everybody can see their fault is definitely at the point guard position. So I think they need to address that pretty soon. And if they don't address it, I can tell you, I just don't think they're going to make it far, in the playoffs. I don't see it. So, I mean, hopefully that gets addressed. Hopefully they fix that, because if they don't fix that, I can definitely see, a lot more issues rather than better days for the team. Now, with that being said, I do have to take into the account that they are, a legitimate team, and they've definitely been a legitimate team all this season. I think people have, kind of overlooked them some, and I definitely can understand why, because when you look at their team in its totality, they have a lot of good players and they have some talent, but it's just not, what we expect. It's just not good enough for us to look at them as a championship team, and I definitely understand why, and I think definitely understand why everybody else looks at them the same way, because what happened last year in the bubble and things of that nature. But when you look at the team in its entirety, you have the Serge Ibaka's and Nicholas Batum, and I really was not really big at all on the trade they made. What's the guy that's coming off the bench? Man, I can't really think of his name right now. I can see his face, but yeah, they paid him $64 million anyway. And the fact that, Luke Kennard, yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of, Luke Kennard. I just wasn't overly impressed with Luke Kennard and I didn't see anything in him on the Detroit Pistons enough for the Clippers to go out and make a trade for him. Not even make a trade, but pay him $64 million. He hasn't even proven himself in the NBA. So $64 million is just not, what I think he should have got. Money wise, I think they should have gave him like maybe a veteran's minimum, even though he's not a veteran. But that's the type of money I think he should get until he proves himself in the NBA. And like I said, with that being said, I just don't think this team is built for success unless they get a point guard. And unless they get a point guard, I just don't see them going too far, because you have to have somebody to control the offense. You have to have somebody to be on the same page with the superstar players and get them in a position where they need to be to play at their highest level. And another big thing on the team, too, I said in my previous videos, Paul George is going to have to understand that he's the second superstar and not the first one. They gave you all that money because they had nobody else to give it to, which is the reason why Paul George got the contract. Other than that, I mean, really, it's no need for him to even act like he's the number one, because what we saw last year in the bubble reminded us that he's a number two at best. So now getting down to who they trade for, of course, I don't think they'll trade either Kawhi or, PG. So I'm guessing if they had to make a trade for anybody, I probably would go maybe, it's going to have to be probably Patrick Beverley and maybe Reggie Jackson. I mean, it's like, what else? Who else can they trade for? I mean, they definitely need to keep Lou Williams, because to me, he's definitely a really good piece off the bench, and if he's engaged, he definitely can hit some big shots for them in the playoffs. So with that being said, you get rid of them two and get a point guard with the likes of Kyle Lowry, maybe even George Hill, maybe Lonzo Ball, somebody like that. I think everything will work out really good for them. But they're gonna have to make a trade here soon. And I'm just wondering who they're gonna trade to get them, or what they need to do to make that trade. Because it's okay. So it's like, when you look at the team, they have a lot of good pieces, but like I said, without that point guard, that solidified, certified point guard that at least other teams looked at as respectable, they're not going to get far. And if they don't get far in the playoff this year, past the second round, at least to the Western Conference Finals, it's another failure. Now, me personally, I think, if they don't at least make it to the finals, it's a failure with this team, really, because I'm not sure if anybody can beat the Brooklyn Nets, but at the same time, I will say this, if one team can do it, I think it would either be them or the Lakers. So with that being said, they definitely need to make a trade here soon, and I don't know what they're waiting for. They should have been made the trade, really. Steve Ballmer has all this money, buying new stadiums, all this stuff he's talking about. Well, buy them a point guard and save some of your money for a new stadium and build that if your team wins a championship. How about that? Because to me that makes more sense. So with that being said, I'm just gonna wait and see what turns out in the whole situation as far as the team. I really like Kawhi Leonard. He's definitely my favorite player, one of my favorite players in the league. I've said that before, and I'm not a big fan of Paul George, but at the same time, at least they had that point guard in the middle. They can make up for some of the woes that Paul George has in the playoffs. So with that being said, hey, that's my take on it. I definitely think you know Reggie Jackson and Patrick Beverley should be the two focal points to make a trade for one big solidified point guard, and whatever they need to do, because it's now or never for this team. And you got to put your foot on the gas and don't look back. And that's just my take on it. But hey, leave your take in the comment section. Let me know what you think on the situation, and we'll go from there. And hey, join the Cali Take community. Hey,